this government will make a new free-of-charge digital ID mandatory for the right to work by the end of this Parliament. Let me spell that out. You will not be able to work in the United Kingdom if you do not have digital ID.
Game over. Checkmate, Abdul. Looks like you and your buddies are going to have to scoot on down to Deliveroo and hand over the electric vehicles. You've no use for those e-bikes no more, because Keir Starmer's rolling out his mandatory digital ID.
It's as simple as that.
All UK citizens will have to have one. Well, the plan is that we're going to roll this out by the end of
Parliament.
No,
my question is, what if I don't? What if I just don't do it?
Well, there'll be consequences, of course. What do you mean if you just don't do it? There will be harsh consequences. Cruel and unusual consequences.
Why should I get the digital ID card? Why do I do it? Well, is there some fine for not doing it? Is there an incentive to do it? I'm just thinking I've got no reason to do it.
Yeah, look, this isn't a heavy-handed approach. We're not planning to go around fining people.
Oh, no, God forbid, don't go around fining people, eh? You don't want to end up on trial in The Hague. No, I think if, as she says, if we just give these people trafficking psychopaths, if we just give them a fair but stern warning, right, that digital ID's coming, all right? So you can stop, please, shipping over our greatest strength, the illiterate military-age young men that you're sending over by the dinghy load every day. No thanks, and it's not going to be worth your while because digital ID, you're screwed.
All of those pull factors that make people want to risk their lives across the channel. And the gangs, by the way, they absolutely get this because they are selling not just a cross of the channel to vulnerable people in France. They're selling fake passports, and a digital ID just puts an end to all of that.
But hang on, if you can get a fake passport, maybe you can get a fake digital ID. And that...
Fake digital ID. What next? They're going to be flying the immigrants over the channel on pink Pegasuses.
And in other countries, they have sort of bypassed their system. They've still got people working in the black economy and doing jobs they're not supposed to be doing that aren't registered. So it's still happening, even when there are ID cards in place.
Still happening, but it makes it a lot harder, and it's going to be a lot more difficult given the technology we've got at our disposal.
Yeah, you fucking idiot. There ain't going to be no fake digital IDs, okay? Not with all the technology we've got at our disposal. Yeah, we're going to be shooting those Pegasus out of the sky with lasers and shit.
Who's Daniel Boland? Oh, Daniel Boland, this is a heavy hitter. Do you guys know who this is?
So, I don't think I'm the only person who is wondering how exactly these digital IDs are going to stop illegal immigration and how it's going to stop people working for cash in hand, you know, sharing Deliveroo licenses amongst 20 people. I'm not sure how it's going to stop Albanians setting up fake hair salons and using them to deal drugs. I don't understand how any of that's... at least it's not immediately obvious why that is all going to be dissuaded and stopped by this digital ID. And of course, the people who are advocating it, once you scratch the surface and ask a few basic questions like that, they have absolutely no fucking idea. And, of course, why all of a sudden... this would be a Labour government's principal concern, you know, stopping the boats. It's almost as though they're selling us a solution to a problem of their own creating. You know, if I were a cynical man, that's what I might think. Perhaps it could be that there is an ulterior motive to all of this.
Did you know Britain's new digital ID system could one day control your money, your food, and even your freedom to travel? The government says it's about safety, security, and convenience. One ID for everything. Your bank, your doctor, your passport. But critics say it's something far darker. They warn it's the first step toward a social credit system. A world where every choice you make is tracked. Where what you eat, what you drive, and even what you post online decides how much freedom you're allowed. Some reports describe what it could look like. If you've eaten too much beef and passed your carbon footprint, the tills won't let you buy more. If you've driven too far, you won't be allowed petrol. And if you've said the wrong thing online, you won't be allowed to board a plane. Now, the government is warning people they could lose pensions and other necessities if they don't sign up. Fear is being used as pressure. And it isn't just Britain. Versions of digital IDs are being rolled out across Europe, America, and beyond. To some, it looks less like protection and more like global control. So what do you think? Is digital ID the future of safety or the first step toward a world where every part of your life is decided for you?
Now, you might all think that sounds a little bit hyperbolic, that little TikTok video there, a bit far-fetched, eh?
This sounds like a fantastic dystopian sci-fi.
But I've got to say, that sounds a lot more, that aligns far more neatly with what I know about the Labour Party, certainly over the last 30 years or so, than the hymn book they're all singing from on these talk shows now, about how they want to stop the boats with the technology we've got at our disposal. Fuck off. Don't patron me. You do not patronise me, twat, okay? No. The Labour Party, as far as I can tell, certainly during my lifetime, have been obsessed with controlling as many aspects of the UK citizens' lives as they possibly can. I mean, they were pushing for harder lockdowns in COVID, if you don't remember.
Restrictions now, national restrictions within the next 24 hours. That has to be the first step to controlling the virus. Nationwide lockdown. The Prime Minister is hinting that that's going to happen, but he's delaying again, and we can't afford that again. We can't allow the Prime Minister to use up the next 2 or 3 weeks and then bring in the national lockdown that is inevitable. Do it now. That's the necessary first step to get the virus back under control. It is inevitable that more schools are going to close. Many will be closed tomorrow morning. But the more important thing, in a way, is the national restrictions need to come in the next 24 hours.
They are obsessed with going carbon neutral, net zero. At any cost, if that means stopping people driving, if that means eating less meat, if that means closing all of our fracking and nuclear and stopping the drilling for oil in the North Sea.
The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. So here I am.
They are obsessed. They are obsessed with controlling citizens. And this isn't my wild conspiracy theory. You can read it on their websites. Their obsession with Agenda 2030, their absolute commitment to it is there for all to see. The little badges they wear on their fucking on their suits, the little pins. Christ. It's not even just the Labour Party, by the way. The Conservatives are pretty much on the same page. You do not get to tell me now that after 30 years after Tony Blair started talking about digital IDs, okay, he's been pushing for it for decades. Suddenly it's all about stopping the boats, right? After you opened the borders, it was your party who opened the borders. The Conservatives did nothing about it. And now it's just out of control. And suddenly you're selling. And when I say selling, you are selling, Tony Blair? You're selling the solution to the problem of your creating. Because I happen to know that your son, Ewan Blair, is the CEO of Multiverse, a company currently hemorrhaging £60 million per year. But I wonder if Multiverse's fortunes might be turned around by the introduction of mandatory digital ID. I wonder if your son's company could provide services, mandatory services for companies up and down the land, after which would be very convenient, wouldn't it? After the Tony Blair Institute has done so many studies about how everyone wants digital ID and, that your idea was correct all along, confirming all your biases. You pieces of shit. And the fact that you're playing on the discontent that exists around illegal immigration to tell us all that the mandatory digital ID is because... No. It's because you're Fabian Marxist communists.
Very good, parents.
I'm sorry, that's what's going on. I'm sick of pretending like that isn't happening, all right? That's what Keir Starmer is. That's what the Labour Party is. Even though most of them, I don't think they even know that's what they are.
Starmer himself is a man of very interesting background. I think his struggles over what I find actually the rather dull subject of the transgender issue are interesting. The reason why he struggles over it is because he is, by inclination and politics for a long time, a person of the very, very far left. He was mixed up with a tendency called Pabloism in his 20s, which is an outward branch of Trotskyism, named after a man whose nom de guerre was Pablo, who's really a Greek revolutionary called Michalis Raptis, who decided that the old form of revolutionary socialism was clapped out, in which he was absolutely right. The seizure of the post office and the barracks by the working class, that wasn't going to happen. But the revolutionaries should concentrate on two things, the red and the green. The red being the cultural, moral, and revolution, sort of Gramscian takeover of society in every corner. And the green bit, of course, the fanatical and zealous pursuit of net zero and similar targets. And the red bit is, of course, sexual politics, amongst other things. And Starmer, I think, recognizes and has had difficulty over this because he really believes this stuff.
Do you? Or do you think?
I think people, when Starmer in that first debate said, he was asked whether if a relative was suffering on the NHS waiting list, would he go private? He said no. Mm-hmm. People thought he was making it up or pretending. I absolutely believe him. He's an extremely dogmatic person. The other very interesting thing was when he was finally asked a political question interview a week or so ago. Nick Ferrari asked him, when he kept on referring to working people and they wouldn't face any more taxes, who did he mean by working people? And he said, in effect, I won't try and quote exactly, but what the effect of what he said was that the people he does not regard as working people are people with savings.
They are obsessed with destroying the UK from the inside. I don't think there's any other explanation. And this digital ID, if it was any other government, I might even give them the benefit of the doubt. Not these guys. Not these lying bastards. Sorry.
Because decent, pragmatic, fair-minded people, they want us to tackle the issues that they see around them. And of course, the truth is, we won't solve our problems if we don't also take on the root causes.
In the words of Cilla Black, surprise, surprise. The government worked on this from 2021. They allocated £400 million towards their digital identity programme that they're calling the Brick Card. They're telling us it's going to solve the boat crisis. Absolute nonsense. This is part of a World Economic Forum plan to lock us down, and it's all about control.
Just out of interest, and I say this story is only broken. There's lots we don't know about the plan that the government is proposing. But can I have a show of hands? Who is in favour here of ID cards? Well, not the majority, I think it's fair to say.
Control mechanism that is Agenda 2030. What are your thoughts on that right now?
I'm just about to speak really about how 2030 is really the nub of everything. And it's like joining the dots. There's so many things going wrong in our world. And it kind of brings it all back. And, you see where it's all radiating from. So my first slide is really a kind of a visual of that. Now, you can't see it very well here because it's quite small. But in the centre is Agenda 2030. Which was brought about in 2015 by, it originated from Agenda 21, it became 2030 in 2015 at the Vatican by President Obama, where the 17 goals were launched. So the next slide is really about the control framework and how that works. One of the branches is DEI mandates, enforcing ideological compliance in workplaces, education and government, undermining meritocracy and creating division. And then we've got net zero policies, costly energy transitions that dismantle reliable infrastructure, raise living costs and energy costs, and give over the energy control to global actors. And then we've got mass migration, overloading housing and services, changing demographics rapidly, and eroding national cohesion. We've got a lot of these attacks on farming, land rewilding, carbon offsets that drive farmers out of business and reduce domestic food security. ESG, we've got environmental and social governance contracts for businesses, which will dictate corporate policy via environmental and social scorecards. And the sidelines profit and market choice. We've got BNG, which is biodiversity net gain, which is a really big one on scoring and literally commodifying agriculture and nature. So the next one is digital ID systems. Again, centralised databases, enable surveillance and control. We've got the C40 cities with devolution, with the transfer of power from Westminster to the smart cities, and what that means, bypassing local democracy. We've got CBDCs and financial centralisation, programmable money, education reform and indoctrination, replacing knowledge with ideology, global citizenship training, and climate and social activism. And the next one is obviously the NHS. That's another arm of it. Digitising and centralising health data, enabling predictive surveillance and global health governance, property rights erosion, 15-minute cities, mobility restrictions, and surveillance infrastructure, facial recognition, AI monitoring, predictive policing. And then there's the last one is, I think it's the water resource one. Anyway, we've got, water resource control, privatising and rationalising resources under environmental quotas, banning private collection in some cases, international treaty overrides, cultural deconstruction, monopoly consolidation, destroying small and medium-sized businesses again, and data mining, and data mining in schools and impact investing, all the children in schools, data mining them. So this all comes back to the 17 sustainable goals. And though each one of those is instrumental in the destruction of everything as we know it.
Yep, that's what's going on, I'm afraid. And I hope we're all on the same page, you sheep. They're not pulling the wool over this guy's eyes. Those shape-shifting lizards. Marxist shape-shifting lizards. Look, I'm sorry to be so cynical in recent videos, but I've got to get this off my chest somewhere. I'm looking at everything that's going on in the world, and you can't really talk about this stuff to most people who are in your life, What am I going to do? Talk to the local Spanish people about all this digital ID and Agenda 2030? Oh, yeah, right, yeah, the Spanish people, they know the score. They know what's going on. Poor Spaniards are being nudged slowly into a pen like cattle. They don't know what's going on. They just keep going to the trough for more cheap Spanish rip-off Netflix series and reggaeton. They've got enough on their plate. They don't need me blowing their minds. Yeah. I will make some light-hearted videos at some point. I've been thinking about making one about Katie Price and Peter Andre and how we got it all wrong. He was the bad guy. Yeah, I might just blow some of your minds too. Anyway, look, if you've enjoyed anything in today's video, give the video a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Follow me on X and on Instagram to know when I bring out a new video. Join my Patreon if you want to help out with the channel a little bit more and get some access to some exclusive videos that I put up on there. And I'll leave you with the outro. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Still wearing your collar, Sizzles?
Yeah.
Just another name and number then, aren't you? What did you have for breakfast today?
Pedigree chum.
Right. Is that what our ancestors would have been eating?
I love it.
Bet you do. It's full of processed crap. It's full of chemicals. Think about your freedom, Max.
I've got freedom. I'm going to walk twice a day.
What, with a rope around your neck? Going where they tell you to? Yeah, you look really free, mate. I saw Toby down here the other day, and he had an electric collar on.
What does that mean?
It means that if he dares to step a paw out of line, they can electrocute him.
Really? That doesn't sound right.
I saw it with my own eyes, it's true. Oh, were you born without your bollocks, were you? Every single one of us are microchipped. We all have a microchip in us.
No, we're not.
So that if we dare to leave, if we dare to try and go away, they can track us.
That's not true.
It's true. All of us. It's horrible, but we were all bred to be sold to make money for them.
No, we weren't.
We were. It's horrible. You've got brothers out there, you've got sisters out there, you've got parents. You're never going to see them.
I don't. I'm an only child.
Me too.
It's Rover's not about here anymore.
Yeah, he's moved away.
No. They killed him.
What?
He bit someone. He dared to stand up for himself, put his head above the parapet, and they shot him. Yeah.
No, he moved to a farm in the countryside.
Yeah, he's herding sheep now.
Did he tell you that, did he?
Well...
Thought not.